Hello, and welcome to Mind Your Head, a space for people to share their stories, talk openly and honestly about their own mental health challenges, and to give some listeners some comfort in knowing you're not alone. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we record this podcast, the Gubbi Gubbi people. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Indigenous peoples. We honour their enduring connection to the land, waters and culture, and recognise their invaluable contributions they make to our communities. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Today's guest is my good friend, Joel Faulkner. This conversation was long overdue and something we have both wanted to have for years. Joel went from being a promising schoolboy rugby star to leaving the game at a young age. He spent years seeking meaning in life and grappling with the question we all face at some point, who am I? For the first time, Joel shares his story, discussing the highs, lows, and everything in between. Now let's get into it. Joel Faulkner, welcome to Mind Your Head. I've always wanted to have this sit down with you. It's been a while, and so I thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I know you're a very private person.
No, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, I said to you before, I feel like we've been on, similar journeys over the last few years, and I don't think I've ever told you, but you've always been someone, wherever I catch up with you, you've always been someone that I've always connected with on some level, and I don't know why that is exactly. We might find out today, but we've never had a proper sit down and chatted about life, and so I'm stoked that we could actually make this happen.
Yeah. Well, I think getting a feel for a person is just as important as having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And we play footy together, right? And like playing with someone in a state of play, you learn more about someone than you do
Off the field.
or in a conversation.
There's
a saying that in an hour of play, you can learn more about a person than in a year's conversation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, where do you want to go?
Well, I think first off, I know we haven't sort of connected in a little bit. So first off, how you going? How's life treating you?
Life's good.
Is
bro.
it?
Yeah. I as you know, I moved to Byron, and I think I went down for a chick. I went down with she was from down there. And initially,
right. From Brisbane.
Yeah, met in Brisbane.
Yeah,
and she's my girlfriend at the time, and we went down. She was from there, and she'd talk about it, and I said, let's just move down. It was pretty random. It was very random.
Not random for you though.
No.
You live your life in random. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. When I heard you move down to Byron, it might have been random for you, but I was like, fuck, he would fit in perfectly in Byron.
Yeah. Oh, I was attracted to it for that reason. Like we would go down, I don't know, once every couple of years, just for normally for an event or just for
a little muck up.
Yeah, for a muck up.
Yeah.
And every time I go down there, I'm like, fuck, I could live here.
It's nice, isn't it?
This is mean.
Yeah.
So when we moved down there, I had nothing, and I just had no job, barely any money. My car just worked. Right, I'd have to.
The car just made it there.
Yeah, just make it work.
Yeah.
I just found a job, and then just sort of was living at Bruns.
Oh, were you? Initially?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Brunswick.
Bruns is me.
That's my retirement location. I told Jordan when we win the lotto, we're moving to Brunswick.
Oh, Bruns is the best.
It's the best.
You got the bridge, the river, and the beach right there.
Everything
and
you need.
It's waterlogged because it's surrounded by swamp. Right?
Yeah.
It floods.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, but it restricts the development of it all.
Oh, so it can't get too Byron.
This is my assumption of being in the area.
Yeah.
What I've learned is, you can't, like Byron's just getting bigger and bigger and
everywhere.
bigger.
Yeah.
You know? But Bruns is kind of restricted because
it's stayed the same, hasn't it, for years?
Yeah. So it's still a real small town. And it's got that charm still.
Yeah. So what did you do for work once you got down there?
I was labouring for Sparky. I just went on Gumtree and was like, what can I do? Because I was off the rails. Like I went. It was like in the midst of that. Yeah. It was the back end of Fuck, how did I get here? Let's go back. So I stopped playing footy.
Yeah.
And then I reckon I had like 2 or 3 years of just mucking around.
Yeah.
went back. That's when we played together.
Yeah.
I come back.
2015 there.
But I was a shell of my old self.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't. No, I could still run
I was like,
around.
Joel still got it.
I could still do it, but I was like, not like, honed in like I was when I was younger,
Yeah.
And to be honest, that season for me was, it was just nice to play the whole season.
Not getting injured.
I played every game we went from.
Yeah, you did.
I played every minute of every game, and I played every game of the season.
What's going on here?
Oh, that was such an achievement for me, bro. No injuries.
You were strapped up pretty though. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Well, let's go to that because, like, I can see that you have a real, passion and love for life now, and I feel like you're living life on your own terms. But I feel like that wasn't always the case for you, and that in itself has been, a bit of a journey. And if someone told me, like, back in 2009 that, this is where Joel's life would have led him, I probably wouldn't have believed him, to be honest with you, because, the rugby circle is so small. And, like, I first heard about you in 2009 and along with that legendary, Brisbane State High team. I think almost every player in that team went on to play professionally at some level. And you're touted as the next big schoolboy rugby star. I know you probably don't like to hear that.
I don't think I was. No.
Yeah, well, from what I heard, and the news got all the way up to the sunny coast, and we're watching all the highlights on YouTube, and we're like, "Fuck, who are these men playing schoolboy rugby?"
I mean, I've definitely backed myself. I backed the team. Like,
yeah.
I'd carve anyone up. That was our mentality, bro.
Was it?
Yeah, because we worked hard, and that was, and that molded even today. Those boys will be lifelong friends.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Like, can you take me back to that time in your life and like your memories from that year playing footy? Because schoolboy rugby is it's the time of your life. Like all your best mates.
Yeah. And you're at that age where you're absorbing everything.
And it's like
experiencing everything for the first time.
Yeah. I'm not too sure too much schoolwork was happening either.
No.
It was
we had rugby studies.
Exactly, rugby studies.
I think our year was the initiation of
I bet it was.
The first rugby studies. They had a crack with it.
But what was it like for you back then? I mean, it would have been, like I said, the time of your life.
Yeah, it started off like when I was like 15. I played any sport, loved sport. It was just how I, felt free,
Yeah.
Wasn't good at anything else, but I could pick up a tennis racket. I could, anything, whatever it was. Play volleyball in school, cricket even.
Did you?
Yeah, I loved it. Anything.
Yeah.
Anything where you're moving your body.
Yeah.
And, you're focusing. I'd get obsessed with things.
Yeah.
It's funny with tennis. So I accidentally learned how to play tennis when I was 10. I was living in Rocky. We moved over from New Zealand to Rockhampton. And
what a place to go to.
Rocky.
Let's go back to New Zealand.
The beef capital.
Yeah.
But we moved to Rocky and went to school there, the whole state school. And I learned tennis. It's a funny story because when you choose your sport, I was only new. I was 2 weeks there, and you're meant to go to different parts of the field or the school and choose your sport. But my teacher was the tennis coach, my classroom teacher.
Yeah.
And so I just went. I saw him on the tennis courts, and I just went there. And he's my school teacher, so I just hang out with him.
Copy him.
And then he's like started teaching us tennis, and then he's like, all right, every Wednesday we come down here, we play tennis. I'm like, yeah, cool, sweet as. So I'm like, tennis. I get 8 weeks into this.
Were you good?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Just go hard. This is what I thought we were doing every Wednesday.
This is before you started playing footy?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then obviously the more I hung out with kids at school, they asked me like, at lunchtime, like, oh, what are you doing for sport? Why aren't you playing footy with us? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like,
I'm 6'4" playing tennis.
Every Wednesday we go and we verse other schools of footy. I'm like, oh, I've been playing tennis.
That's so random.
It's
fucking hell. So when did you make the move down to Brizzy? Did you get a scholarship or something there?
No, our family moved down. So my dad, he would work away, and he worked in hospitality.
Oh, did he?
So we sort of followed him around.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up in Rocky.
Like hotels and stuff? Oh, right.
Pubs and hotels and everything. He ran a pub up in Rocky, and then he moved to Brizzy. And then it was funny, we were like catching up. Like we all moved to Rocky. Then he got a better gig in Brizzy. And then we stayed in Rocky without him for a while. And then we're like, all right, we'll go down to Brizzy. Went down to Brizzy. And then he got a better gig in Sydney. And then Mum was like, no, fuck that. We're staying in Brizzy.
Yeah, we're staying in Brizzy. Really?
Yeah.
So he went down to Sydney, did he?
Sydney and then Canberra. And then he'd come back every night.
Oh, right. Was that tough growing up? Or
I didn't really notice it.
Didn't you?
No, it was good. Mum did a good job.
she did a good job, did she?
Yeah, she did good. Yeah,
So then-
Dad was a provider, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We lived comfortably, you know.
Yeah.
But
So how did you get into footy? I mean,
I started in Rocky.
mm,
One of the schoolmates said, come and play. And it was good. Heaps of black fellas up there. Fuck, they're good, man.
they're quick, eh?
Indigenous
Yeah,
boys.
Indigenous
quick.
boys.
All
They're
barefoot.
lethal.
We all played barefoot.
Yeah, of course
And you
they
run
did.
faster because all the fields are full of bindies.
You don't want to get it, eh?
Yeah, you can't sit still.
Yeah.
But started up there, got into it, and then moved down to Brisbane. And my cousin, we were living in Logan. My cousin
Of course
was
you were.
staying with us. Yeah,
Yeah.
represent.
Yeah.
My cousin was staying with us at the time, and I'm like, oh, I'll play rugby. So he just took me down to the local rugby club, and that was it.
So you were quite a late bloomer in terms of playing footy, like,
Yeah,
you
it would
know.
have been 10, 11.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, right. So what were your sort of favourite memories at Brisbane State? I mean, obviously winning. I think you're flogging every team by like
Yeah,
80 points.
yeah. We were that schoolboy side. It started when I was probably 15.
Yeah.
We were looking up to guys like Charlie Fatoa
Mm.
and Brando Valu. I think Brando's a coach there now, actually.
Yeah. Well,
Josh.
Charlie's a coach down on the sunny coast.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
He was a player coach for a little bit. I used to go down and watch him play.
Yeah, Charlie's a man.
Playing reserves or something, still got it. I'm like, what are you doing playing reserves?
Is he playing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because he broke his neck.
When did you do that?
Oh, this was after. This is like, he
Yeah.
was,
No,
he
he
was
played.
with the Reds and then he done his neck.
Yeah, he played a couple of seasons playing reserve grade last year.
How good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
So you looked up to those guys.
Those boys are like the older. We were like, I was only young and they were the seniors.
Mm.
And the coaches, Eags, Nooney, they were the bosses. Everyone revered them, bro.
Oh,
Everyone,
really?
Yeah, everyone was like, fuck yeah.
They're the
We
man.
were scared of them, you know?
Yeah, were they?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was good. They kept us hungry and like, you know, something to
Strive for, I
something
guess.
to strive
Yeah.
for. And they set a good example.
Mm.
And I would see them. I remember, remember NTS?
Yeah.
You know how like NTS, like, I don't know, Squabba or Laney would come.
Yeah.
They would come into the schools. Well, in Brizzy they did. I remember seeing like Josh and Charlie doing like kicking practice or catching practice on the over. I'm like, fuck, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Can't wait to that. I wanted to do that.
So you had dreams of like aspirations to take footy further?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I mean, it was more. I didn't have a big foresight.
Yeah.
I still don't. But
Yeah,
I'm
I was
working on
gonna ask you that.
that. I'm working on that.
Well, it's funny because people have their own sort of ways to look at the future or future goals. A lot of people sort of live short term. Other people live, long term. For you, was it sort of short term when you're playing footy at school? Was it?
It was on the moment.
Was it all in the moment? Was
I
it?
was saying this before, being present. Like,
Yeah, being present.
Before I even knew what that was, like being present, I was just good at being here and now.
Oh, were you always?
Yeah, always.
Oh, really?
But you become impulsive. It has its bad traits, but it's also good because you're good at what you're doing right here and now.
Yeah, no focus on anything else.
Yeah. And so, yeah, before I was a senior at State High and we had that mad run.
Matt, the best. I think it's still.
It started early.
Did it?
Yeah, it started like we got instilled values like we would train with Eags and Nooney. They were the head coaches there at the time when we were young fellas. And then, guys like Matty Tamora,
Oh, yeah.
who's like, everyone knows that guy.
Yeah.
He's the man.
He's
He
the
was
man.
like a big role model for everyone.
Yeah.
Brenny Hamlin, and Willie Tupou. He
Oh,
was the
yeah.
man. He was my idol.
Was he? Willie
Yeah.
Tupou?
And he's a friend now, which is even
Is he?
cooler. Yeah.
As
I mean,
in-
we were friends at school, but he was
The one
like,
that plays for Japan?
yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was the man.
Yeah.
Cut a line like Willie Tupou.
Oh, really?
In school, he was, he was just as lethal when he was.
Was
a kid.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you had a lot of mentors there, like people older than you to look
Yeah.
up to.
yeah,
Mm.
and even opponents. Like I remember marking. When I was a young fella, I think I was year 11, and I played first, and I was a young kid coming up playing first. I think my first game I had to mark Luke Morahan. I was like,
Good luck.
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
And that TSS team was obviously
That was
lethal
gun.
that year too.
Yeah, Slips, Jono.
Ben Tupperwire, I think, was
Ben
there.
Taps,
Yeah. Yeah, John O'Lance, I think, was there too. Like, what a team they had.
Yeah. So,
Did you realise, I've always wondered this, like at the time, did you realise like how good or how blessed or lucky the team that you had, like everyone sort of coming together? Like, I think every single player,
it was just
every single player was
just
good.
evolved into that.
Did it?
It wasn't like this massive plan. Like,
Yeah.
because what happened was I did senior for 3 years. I did it was common for like guys who focused on their sport to just do senior so they could do their sport.
Yeah.
Some of the boys, others did that as well. And that's what Charlie did. You know, and there was like a few basketballers, a couple of volleyballers did that.
Yeah.
You know. It was cheeky for me.
It wasn't a cheeky,
Yeah, I mean, they say so you can be like a student athlete and focus on it, and it does work. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no shooting in this.
I was
It's all athlete.
like, fuck, if I could do anything to study less, to read less,
Yeah.
that was me.
That was me. I went to a sports school. So
Yeah.
when I decided to go into the army, you had to do English and maths, but I changed it to like social English and social maths, which is like nothing. And I did all sport. I was like, why am I trying for an OP, stressing out for an OP when I'm just going straight in the army? So instead of stressing out my year 12, I had the best year 12. All my mates were stressing about like exams and stuff. I was doing surf class in the morning. And then I drive into school and do touch, have a break, do footy, do basketball, do volleyball. That's my day.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is the best.
which I mean, you know, people talk about. I don't know. I think about like the curriculum of school and stuff, but that's like a good way for a kid to spend his time. Is it not? Like to like just feel alive and do activities that they love. And
And I always think about that. I was like, fuck, did I fit into school? Like, did I get the most out of school? Like, I was always stressed about schoolwork. And I was worried, like, did I have to go to uni? Did I have to get good grades to have a successful life or make something of yourself? And I look at it now and I'm like, no, I'm living pretty happily, pretty comfortably, and academic wise.
There's many ways to make a way.
It is, isn't it?
Like my parents, if you got an education, and I think it's still education is good in some form, or getting knowledge in something is good for you. But they were like, do the right thing, go to school, finish school, go to uni, and it's good. It is good to do that, but we're not all.
It wasn't for you, you reckon?
I don't know.
Nah.
Well, it wasn't.
Yeah. So did you have that year? And you're making Queensland schoolboys, Aussie schoolboys.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you were like, oh yeah, I can just keep playing
I
footy
made
professionally?
Queensland schoolboys.
Yeah.
And then this was this the 16s? This is 16. So I was only 16 years old. And then I had a ripper tournament. It was one of them 4-day tournaments.
Yeah. Play a couple of games a day.
Yeah, a couple of games a day. And I carved that up. I was on a tear. And that's when Phil Mooney was the Reds guy and he signed me that day on just some like schoolboy thing.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was on like some.
And this is back when that shit doesn't happen. Like that's not common.
No, it was new. It was the first
It was new,
time.
Yeah. But now that happens all the time. But back in 2009.
Me, Dane, Dom, Ships, Nicky, and Simon was.
Yeah. What a lethal crew, eh?
Yeah, there was only 5 of us.
Yeah.
But it was this new thing. They were trialing it out. And we would go, like in school holidays, we'd go and train with the top team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was fun.
Was it fun?
I was a kid, man. I was getting fucking bullied by it. But you know what was me? Like training, just being alongside the field with like Chris Latham, Barry Barnes and shit.
Yeah.
I was a kid.
2009, of course, that year. Yeah.
And it was like Charlie and Brando were in the Reds then.
Yeah.
So like I had some familiar faces, but it was still surreal. Like I was just like, I was 16 running on the field. And I'd only go to like, I'll just slip into their field sessions, once a week or something.
Yeah.
And the other boys did it who were on the same gig. But I just like, I learned like the hard-nosed part of professional footy.
In what way?
Or even just rugby in general.
What way?
Like just the gamesmanship.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Barry Barnes good at that.
What do you mean?
Like just niggle.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Really?
It was good, man. It was good. Like
What, throwing a bit of chat?
throwing chat, like just making things hard for your opposition and like taking
right.
like, you know.
Oh, the psychological side of like playing footy.
Or just the
mind games and stuff.
the games and shit. They're like, and this is their training. They're doing this training.
Yeah,
but
I'm your teammate.
It was good for them to, like when you do semi-opposed, to like get a glimpse of that.
Yeah, nice.
And even just the high skill level, like fuck, man. Just when you're a schoolboy and you go hang out with some pros like that, it's so fast, and everything is just like
To another level, eh?
yeah.
Do you have a favourite memory from that last year at Brisbane State Eye?
Man, every game was good. We had I was going. The stars aligned with that year. Like we had people like I was a senior that year. We had Geordie Toops. But Jordan was our captain.
Weapon.
Absolute weapon.
Still a weapon, I bet. Yeah.
Still.
You keep in contact with him all, do you? Yeah, nice.
He's a great man.
Yeah, he is.
He's a solid man.
Yeah.
Like I got a lot of time for Geordie.
Yeah.
Matu, Matty Garland.
Yeah.
Even our whole backline. Like everyone. I can say any name.
I think your Rohan was your fucking...
But Ron, and then we had like the younger boys, a year younger than us, but then like the babies of the team, like Curtis Browning and Chris Saltier, they were just old enough to play.
And they were killing it.
And
they killed it for the next 4 years at school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean. Like it's just so...
The timing of
the
it.
The timing of it all, like, and they've all gone on, you either play for the Reds or play overseas or play for their country. It's like, you know, I still look at it now like that, and a lot of people talk about it. Like 2009 Brisbane State I team is like still like
we were the best team in the world. We would have beaten any team in the world.
We're the best team.
We were.
Did it feel like that?
I reckon we
did.
were.
It feel like that when you're playing? You're like
we could beat anyone.
We're not being arrogant or cocky, but just have so much confidence. Like we're gonna fuck yous up
because, bro, it was so the stars aligned for each player.
Yeah,
right? And then. Our training was fucking grueling, bro.
Was it tough?
Yeah,
was it?
Gracie, Michael Grass, he taught us all how to be hard in training, like how to work hard. So I'll give you an example. Like we did stairs, we did Kangaroo Point stairs. The Sankey was once a week, every Friday, and that was like the Friday session. That was the easy session.
Yeah,
I got out a lot of those.
I bet you did.
I did a few, no, but
It was hard for the boys.
It was grueling, man. Like for example, in the mornings we did a lot of strength and conditioning with Gracie. You had to be there. I think it was like 6:30 or 7. This is before school, and the warm up was a plank that we had to hold, and we would hold it for fucking 20 minutes, doing different variations of a plank. And it's just little stuff like that.
16-year-olds.
Yeah, 16-year-olds. And we would just fucking drip. There was a pool of sweat underneath everyone. And like stuff like that. It was like every session was great. And we had so much fun. You know, and like even the 300s. Our field was and all the boys, you know, when they hear this, they'll be laughing. Like the 300s,
What's the 300s?
Well, 300 was, our field wasn't quite 400 meters around. There was a track on it. But we had to do, I think it was run 300 meters in less than a minute. Which is doable, right? When you're kind of fresh and if you sprint.
Yeah.
But we had to do that fucking every drop ball, 1-300.
Really?
You drop another ball, 1-300. Someone misses a tackle in a semi-opposed, that's a 300.
So like the standard.
The standard had to be high.
Was so high.
Yeah.
From the get-go.
From the get-go.
Oh, right.
So every drill you do, and then you got 2300s. Like,
so when the game came around, you guys were just absolutely fizzing.
We were fizzing. We were fit as fuck.
Well, yeah.
And also the tactics, man. Like, we work so much on little things. And I think this is what, you know, as a coach, the reason to take on, like, I've sort of translated this approach with my boxing is like focus on the small things. And even in life, right? So I'd just become obsessed with running lines. Like we would not me, sorry, but Eags would like get us to just do simple, boring drills where we were good at running a line. Like, first of all, you learn simple, run straight, cut the line, run straight, cut the line, run straight. All right, let's put a person there. And this is general stuff, but we just did that over and over again.
Yeah. And that's what you were good at too. You fucking could cut a line.
But running lines was my jam. Bro.
You loved it too.
I loved it.
But it's like the basics. It's the basics that people overlook, isn't it?
Yes.
And how simple it is. Just open a shoulder up in the defense and then cut straight back in. And you don't need to have all these, these massive. This is reps, isn't it? And like I see, like my mate does a bit of coaching on the coast, and he gets all the time. He gets parents or other people go, "Oh, the Island did this on the weekend. Or All Blacks did this on the weekend. You should try this." And he's just like, "Yeah, they're the fucking
It's
All
too
Blacks.
far. It's too far.
they're the All Blacks. He's a.
I bet you they're just simply doing things.
Yeah.
And then when you come like when you drop a play in, it can only be achieved like a complicated play if everyone is running their line correctly.
doing
right?
all the basic things well.
Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. And people get like, they overlook all this, the basic stuff, all this fancy things that are happening, and it's just like, guys, there would be nowhere if it wasn't for like a good catch pass or a good running unders or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, my whole thing was I wanted to beat the defender before I got the ball.
Oh, right.
So I don't know, I forgot who taught me this, but Eags was a big fan. This, but I'd snake him, bro. If I just say you and I squaring up here, I was gonna beat you. And before I would tell myself that, so that's the psychological thing. Like I'm going past you, and then like you work their hips, you change their hips by just
little movements.
Yeah. Like I'll cut out. If I'm going in, I'm cutting out first. Maybe I cut in again, then I cut back out, and then last minute coming in.
Yeah. You'd really do that.
Yeah.
That much.
Yeah.
And the D would just be like, fuck,
Because
what's
the
he
D
doing?
would be like this.
Yeah,
They'd be watching you.
Yeah.
And then like you boom.
Best case scenario, he's got like a weak tackle on you or something. Yeah. And you love throwing the offload as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So let's go. So you sort of got that contract.
Yeah.
We were waffling a little bit there, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm good at that. You got to rein me back in. I'll go for a second.
So you made the Reds. Did you get a full-time contract?
So I got this scholarship, and they said, look, this is gonna, because I got offers from Cowboys and Broncos and stuff like that.
Oh, did you? Did you go to league?
Yeah, but I just didn't know league. I don't even care about like contracts or anything. I was more, if I can play this game that I like playing.
So you were
Let's
more for the
encourage
love
that.
of it rather than a money thing or
No
anything
money.
like that.
I
Yeah.
don't care about that.
Yeah.
Still don't.
So there was always a love for footy, like.
I love like being physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love playing.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
playing. I love being in a state of play.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you transition from like schoolboy rugby, playing for the love of it, and then going full time as your full time job and getting paid to do it? Did you transition well, I guess, mentally over to that, and having like expectations and pressure as like this is your job now?
It was easier because I was in those programs and the Reds scholarship thing or the NTS.
You got a little taste of it.
You get a taste of
the
professionalism.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a standard. So you do evolve. You don't not just dropped in, you go in, and that's the pathway.
They ease you
it
into
still
it.
probably is the pathway, I'm assuming. But when I come into the academy, it wasn't it was great. Like it was a lot of fun. Like you wake up, you go train for 2 hours, have a rest, have a nap, go back, train for 3 hours.
It sounds good in theory, isn't it?
It's a great lifestyle.
It is a great lifestyle.
Yeah.
What did you struggle with the most?
Man, the only thing I struggled with was the training was great, getting better. I love
Improving.
being in the moment, like improving. You're with elite players, so you can't help but just get that high standard brush up on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Injuries, bro.
Is that what got you the
That's
injuries?
what got me. Started as my body broke.
Why do you think it broke?
It started to break my mind. Why?
Is it unlucky? Because I've played with so many players that who are just absolutely lethal, and they just get a knee. And they're fit. They physically look strong. I don't know if doing a knee's unlucky or something, but I've played with so many players that are so good, and then they'll get a knee or they'll get a shoulder, and then they'll just get a horrible run of it, and then before you know it, they've chosen to do, another profession.
Yeah.
Is that what it was like?
That's
for
pretty
you?
much what happened to me.
Was it?
Yeah. In a nutshell. Like it was just the repetitive injuries. My shoulders went, and once my shoulders went,
It's hard to play a contact sport without your shoulders.
I know. And
Isn't it? It'd be tough.
Yeah. And I just, I love the roughness of it. I love running into people and smacking people. So
did it have when you're getting these injuries, did you second guess?
there were moments where if I didn't address them, I would play shit because it's
really?
I'll try and play with a sore shoulder and you can't tackle.
You can't. Yeah.
But after getting surgery, do a shoulder reconstruction, do the rehab, get fit again, get strong again, start playing again. Maybe 3 or 4 games in, do your shoulder again.
Start feeling good and then do your shoulder again.
Yeah, man. I was only playing. I remember there was, over the course of 3 or 4 years, I played about 12 games.
Really?
And I was a professional rugby player, but I wasn't playing rugby. I was a professional rehabber.
Rehabber. Yeah, as sad as that is, eh?
Yeah. And, you know, looking back, I think I needed like I needed someone. I didn't need someone. I needed I needed someone to like get to me and like tell me like when I after go back a bit. After having 3 in a row over 3 years, my body started breaking and my mind started to go. I started to lose confidence. And I backed myself in everything, especially on the field. I was so confident with anything. I just knew I could
perform,
get over my opposition or whatever. But then I started to lose my mojo a bit, and I was like second guessing everything. And then once that started to creep in, those demons started to get in there. Fuck, man.
It's hard to get rid of them, eh?
It's hard to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And so after the 3rd recon, I struggled to find that, that drive.
Yeah. Was that the defining moment that you decided like,
yeah,
I might fucking give this up?
Like I remember going to training, I'm like, I don't even feel it. Like,
you don't want to be
I
here.
remember the exact training session, and the coach was there, and he's like, I dropped 3 balls in a row. We were playing like a warm-up game, like offside touch or something, and I dropped 3 in a row. And I was just like, I don't do that.
Yeah, what's going on here?
And it was that simple. Like I was just like, what's going on here? And then I started like doubting. I'm like, do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And then I just even just after the 3rd recon, that's when I started like getting on the gear, drinking more.
Oh, really?
Partying more, and that was fed the devil. That fed the demons.
It did feed the devil, doesn't it?
You
Eh?
know,
Was that your way of coping with the thoughts or the feelings that you're feeling at that time?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with my life?
Yeah.
Is that how you felt?
I was like, I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
I'm good at this game, but maybe I'm just not cut out for it.
What, did you feel like you failed?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I didn't even think that. I just thought, yeah, I guess so. I guess like I wasn't cut out for it. Maybe I'm not good enough for this. Or I knew I was good enough. I believed in my ability, but I started losing faith in my body's.
Yeah.
Like I'm injury prone. You know?
Yeah. You like didn't trust your body to just, to go through it all.
Yeah.
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 So did you struggle to find, I guess, purpose or identity after you stopped playing?
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Did you?
That broke me. Yeah.
Really?
Once I wasn't playing footy and I like convinced myself, and I was only young, too old, and 23. Convinced myself that I just went off the rails, And anyway, everyone knows that's a recipe for disaster. Like, especially yourself. Yeah. Like you just started partying more, hanging out with different crew, and not that they were bad people at all, but they were people they were drinking and taking drugs and stuff like that.
They were probably in a happy mindset, but
yeah.
But you weren't.
I went there, and then
yeah.
And I used to think this, like, I don't think you should party, or I don't think I should party to mask your bad states. You should, well, not even party. You should enjoy.
Do you mean to like?
I was taking all these things, these uppers or whatever, to mask the bad, not to amplify the good, right? And so,
how long did you do that for? Did you go on like your own sort of? Seems like I've went through my own journey of feeling lost and didn't know where I fit in the world and what my purpose was, or like what am I? I thought I was here to play footy, and when that stopped, you're like, what am I here to do? Who is Elliot? Who am I? For years, I was just like, and then people would ask me like,
did you try different things? Like, did you try random shit?
Not when I was playing, and that's just something that I regretted. Was like, I just thought rugby was going to last forever, but at the same time, I'm like, rugby's not going to last forever. But in that moment, you're like, when you're 20, you think 30's so far away. Yeah. You're like, I'm 20 years old. 30 is like 10 years. I got ages before I have to try to figure something out. So I'd always, every year I would say that and just prolong finding something else or go looking for something else or try something else. I was just always stuck at like, well, I'm good at footy. Oh, maybe I'll try next year. And then before you know it, you're 30 and you're like, fuck, I haven't tried anything else at all. And then that's when I started to feel real lost and like started to suppress, you know, your feelings of emotions of being lost and having no purpose. And you're like, maybe I felt really good when I was drinking and on drugs. Maybe I could just like, maybe that's my remedy. But then you realize how bad drugs and alcohol are for you. And then that would put me in a worse mindset because I'm like, that I'm doing something so bad for me, yet it's making me feel good. But I know for the long run that can't happen. And I got stuck in this weird bubble of like doing something that you know that's not good for you. But then at the same time, for a short period of moment, it would make you feel good or have you it would give you that release or that some sort of comfort from your thoughts.
Yeah.
Where did that journey take you over the course of, you left at 23.
At 23. So we
Did you go,
hey?
Did you go traveling or anything? Like what did you?
Nah. I mean, just in Australia, I didn't go away or anything.
Didn't go away?
No, so because I was partying, I made do with that. So I started like doing events and stuff, throwing parties and getting in the club scene, like DJing at clubs or just like doing something, you know. I met a lot of cool people actually in the art world from that part of my life, you know. And to be honest, it was good. It was fun. You know, there's a lot of talented people in different forms, and it kind of opened my eyes to
different possibilities.
Like I was such a obsessed with sport, but then I got to mingle with people doing different things.
Yeah, creative people,
Yeah, people doing stuff like this. And, the world is so colourful, bro. There's so much.
So when did you? How bad did those times get for you? I mean, you know, you're saying that you're sort of meeting all these different people, but I guess upstairs, how were you dealing with it all? Did you go through some?
Yeah, I was
some
going
pretty bad. Did you?
Yeah.
Bit of head noise.
Oh yeah. Oh, by far, man. I was depressed. You know, I was taking more gear just to try and suppress that. You know,
have a longer high.
Yes, live a longer life. Exactly.
You don't want it to end.
No.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get to a breaking point.
Yeah.
You can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
And I broke completely. I was gone.
What was your breaking point?
Oh, I was like, I don't want to be here. I'm done with this. You know?
Really?
My whole reality was warped into thinking that I'm not meant to be here, you know. I lost all purpose. I had no ambition. I thought filling my time with cheap thrills was okay, and then the real you is like, this is bullshit. All this is bullshit. And so, because I had nothing to go back to, no routine, no purpose or passion, there was no desire to be around here. So, yeah,
That was your rock bottom, was it?
Yeah. Yeah. And there was times when I wanted to call it a day.
Call it.
Yeah. But when I got that low and in that state, you know, my mum, shout out to mum.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
she got you through it.
She said something that really got to me. She's like, you know, she's crying because like I was in a bad way, like off the road. I was so unhealthy, whatever.
Did you talk to her about it, or could she just tell?
No, this was like she could tell. And she said to me, you know, if you kill yourself, I'll kill myself. And man, her saying that, I was like, fucking hell, Jesus, like that hit me. It's kind of like snapped my brain out of this like state, because like I didn't feel it at the time, but in hindsight now that I'm a little bit wiser, man, being depressed, I think, and this is my own version of thinking about me, is so selfish, bro. It's a selfish thing. Like you're so obsessed with your own shit, you forget about who you're affecting and what we're not alone, even if we try to be. We've got our family around us, we've got our friends that we affect. So,
but it's hard to see that
you can't see it. You can't see it.
when you're in that state. And I felt the exact same. Like when I was in that state, I had so much loving friends and family looking like outside looking in. But when you're in it, you just think that no one cares. You're alone. I'm doing them a favor.
Yeah.
When reality, that's not reality at all.
No. Isn't it fucked how you've warped your mind gets when you're that unhealthy?
Oh, it's so frightening that I now like fully, shouldn't say fully because there's so much more growing to do and learning to do, but fully like understanding how powerful the mind is. That one little bad thought that you don't address can manifest over years and snowball into this and warp your reality into thinking that this is the truth when it's not. It just happened to be a bad thought that you didn't nip in the butt or you didn't address or you didn't talk about. You've just like pushed it down, suppressed it. That comes up. That will keep coming up, and every time it comes up, it will come back worse and worse. And that's what it was for me. I left it for years, and then it just snowballed into how bad it got. And now it's like, it's a constant reminder is like, well, how good can positive thoughts be? Where can I get myself in a position where I love my life and using positive thoughts? Because if your mind can do that to you when you're, in a negative state, it can also be such a powerful tool when you're in a positive state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So what got you out of it? Obviously your mum talking to your mum about it, and what was your turning point?
Mum, like, it was a good snap, like, just hearing that, and I was like, shit. But the work started when I just did things. There's a quote from a Nas song, "Habitual happiness," right? And I heard that, and I was like,
That's deep.
yeah, he's a deep man. And I started doing things, creating habits that just gave me joy, that were good. And
Like
even,
little habits?
yeah, like little things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and were healthy. They weren't things that were. So there's like two things. There's two things. If you do something that is maybe short-term high, good, but has a long-term bad, that's probably not the best thing. Or if you have something that's short-term bad, but in the long run is good, that probably isn't the best thing, right? So for example, like a short-term high would be like drinking piss. It's great. You feel good, you can socialize, you talk, but the next day you're hungover, long-term, and you can't keep doing it, right? It's unsustainable. Or in reverse, you got short-term bad, maybe like a job you hate, it's the daily grind is shit. Like, you don't like this, I don't like being here. But you get heaps of money and you can have security. Like, that's kind of good, right? But I started to try and think about doing things that have both good high, good short-term and good long-term. So and that's what I do now with sport. I have to be involved with sport. Sport is a good short-term and it's good long-term, right? You get the immediate
like dopamine hit.
Hit from doing something you like doing. You're moving your body. And then obviously the health benefits long-term, right? And also if you can get a job that does that, it contributes to your life,
That's the search we're all on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
Because I'm exactly in that point of working in the mines where it's, it's not painful, but, massive long-term gain. But in the short term, I'm trying to find those little sprinkles of joy and happiness to outweigh the shit of going out into the working out in the mines. But yeah, I'm happy that you found that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good. People do it in different ways. Like, you're working in the mines, right? But did you kind of spawn this idea, or at least like get the motivation from being out there working, when you're working on your week on, you then thought, I'm going to start this, or did you start this and then you're out there?
Nah, so I was out there and I listened to podcasts and stuff out at work. And then a thought came in where I was like, I don't want to be in the mines forever. I love chatting to people. I've gone through my mental health, struggles. A lot of friends that have gone through stuff. I had family members that have gone through stuff. I've always been interested in podcasting, always listened to stuff. And I thought, I've got a week. I spend, 5 months, 6 months at home, not working. How can I fill my time in? What gives me that passion and joy that I thought I had when I was playing footy? And then there was this one period where I was like, I've got the time, I've got the money, I need to find a hobby, and I've always didn't think I was, creative, didn't think I was artistic. I've always been fascinated with music and
You're not
paint.
creative. Creative is problem solving.
Yeah.
You're creative on the rugby field.
Well, that's what I've like.
You could fucking
I've talked about sports psychologists is one of the things that I really loved about rugby was my creative outlet, that I never looked at it like that. And he was like, well, what did you love about it? I was like, well, it's problem solving. It's it's thinking on the spot. It's being creative and like how to beat someone or beat the opposition, and that was like my creative outlet. So when it was gone, I felt like something was missing, but I just thought it was like that, that passion and drive for rugby, but I didn't think rugby was my creative outlet.
Mm.
And then once I thought about that, I was like, oh, well, maybe I am a creative person. Maybe I have that urge and drive to be creative. And I've always been interested in music. I've always like wanted to play the piano. I've always like wanted to teach myself how to paint. And then when I started the podcast, and even like, creating the podcast and what it looks like, what it wants to be, like that's a creative in itself. And then once I started, the conversations, and I think a girl said to me that being a conversationalist is an art form. This is your art. Mm. And I was like, I never really thought about it like this, but maybe it is.
100%.
Yeah. So that's been like my journey through it so far, and it's been easily one of the best things that's ever happened to me. The people I've had to meet, got to talk to, the conversations I've had to have. It's been, I'm learning every time I sit down here. I'm always learning, and like even the conversation with you, like, yeah, I've always wanted to sit down with you because I know you're a very deep man, and you have some deep thoughts. And I've always, looked at what you've gone through, and it's been similar to sort of what I've gone through, and a lot of learnings that a lot of people can take out of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I get a bit sentimental.
Do you?
Well, I think deeply.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I like to observe. I think you get more from observing life than being heard.
Oh, absolutely. I think from
listening.
Well, that's just helped me be a good listener, because I never was a good listener. I was always wanted to tell I was always a big talker.
Yeah.
So this is like teaching.
That's probably why we got along, because I'm good at listening. You're good at talking.
Probably. I think you talked about like doing the inner work and stuff like that, and rugby for me, I use it as a distraction, like distraction from my thoughts and feelings. And we talked about living in the moment. You've always been, you said you've always been good at being present and living in the moment. I haven't been. Rugby was like my distraction. It was like my mask where I didn't think about the past. I didn't dwell over the future. I was just like completely present. And that's what like a lot of it drew me to rugby, was like those Saturdays I could just be like, yes, I feel free. Finally, I could just relax. As soon as that whistle blew, the game's over, I was like, fuck, here we go again. Like I didn't have the tools. I didn't go looking for it to figure out how to turn.
You're in the flow state.
I was in the flow state, but I didn't know how to turn the voices off after I stopped playing. And that's when I sort of got into like, doing drugs and alcohol and trying to find.
They put you in the flow state. I think. The drugs and alcohol.
Do you reckon they put me in the flow state?
Well, for me, they did. You forget about, you're just there and now. Whatever
but it's not a flow state I wanted to be in.
No, it's a fake one.
It's a fake one. It's a plastic one, isn't it? And you talked about like once it stopped for me, I had to do the inner work and start addressing, those demons that, the head noise that was going on. How did you address that inner work? Did you go to a psychologist? Or did you try like, a lot of...
It took me a long time.
Oh, I did?
Oh, yeah. It took me a long time. It was a gradual clawing out of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think that season I come back. So I hadn't played rugby in a while, and I come back and I was a shell of the player I was, you know. But I played every game of the season, you know, and I got to, you know, we hung out a lot that year. We had a bit of a time as well. We got up to some ruckus too.
we had a real big time. Yeah.
But that was the start. Like that wasn't me at rock bottom. That was me at like getting out. I was still bad, you know. I was still partying and carrying on like that. But at least I went back to the sport. I played a bit of sevens too. Traveled around that, but I was still pretty unhealthy compared to what I was.
Mentally, physically,
both. Yeah, both. Yeah. But I started learning about. Oh, before I started learning about stoicism, I started realizing like everything in my life is my responsibility, is my fault. Like all this like depression and like fucking, you know, head noise, it's all self-inflicted. That's what I was telling myself. Like I'm doing this to myself. Like we live a pretty good life. We live a very good life here in Australia. Like nothing outside of it. We can make a good life if we want. All right. So everything that's bad in my life was all it was on me. And so when I kind of realized that, and I started learning about stoicism and like this school of thought that is basically that everything in your life you're in control of, you know, and especially your attitude towards life and your state of mind. Like, you know, everything can happen to you, and people, you might go like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you know, there's something as small as, oh, you cut me off in traffic. Oh, fuck off. Or something as big as, I don't know, someone being attacked or whatever. How you respond makes you, you know, good or bad. How you react to the world.
Yeah, that's 100%. Because I'm reading a book now called The Courage to Be Disliked. I don't know if you've read it before.
What's it called? Courage of what?
Courage to be disliked. To have the courage to be yourself. So the courage to be disliked is the courage to be yourself, regardless of how people view you as a person. And he talked about having the power to respond to life's situations. You can't always control what happens to you, but you control how you respond to it. And hearing that, and he talks about, you know, self-inflicted depression, and you're talking about these things. These are choices. And I was just choosing wrong. I was choosing to be a victim. I was always choosing like, I've had it the hard way. I've had it like this. You know, I'm like this because of someone else. You know, always blaming and blaming and blaming. And that was a big turning point for me, was like not blaming anyone and taking full responsibility and accountability for my life and the choices I make and the decisions that I make. And knowing that we have the power, we've always had the power. I've always thought like, you know, it's out of my control what happens. That may be out of your control, but how you respond to things is always in your control. And that's the shift in like your perspective on what's reality is like, your reality is how you see your reality. So if you see your reality as you're a victim, well, yeah, you're a victim.
Exactly.
You know, if you see these negative things, or I don't like to look at it as negative now, I looked at it as like opportunities to get better or opportunities to learn. So when something comes up, I used to think happiness was not having any problems. That was like what I thought happiness was. So I went through life thinking that if I had problems, I wasn't happy. So, but life's always going to have problems. So I was always unhappy. I was just like, what the fuck's going on? Like I thought, why?
There's always something too.
There's always something. There's always something. Then now I know that like happiness for me isn't not having problems. It's how you deal with those problems. So when they come up, it's not like, oh, fuck, here we go again. It's like, all right, well, what a good opportunity it is to grow or to get better or to learn about someone's other perspective instead of like always clashing with people. And like people have different opportunities or different upbringings. People have different views on life. Like it shouldn't be like an excuse to like, you know, react negatively or anything like that.
There's also like in saying that you can't always be Buddha. You know,
it's hard, isn't it?
You can be, man, you get angry. You get pissed off at things. Like
and
that's like the yin to the yang.
Yeah.
You know? You can't always, you get sad, you know?
But that's the thing, like Jordan's like, who talks to me about it a lot is like, it's okay to express the anger, but I think it's not like you got to express it in a healthy way. You know, for me, I would let anger control me, and I'll get angry for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, you hold on to that.
Hold on to it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't know how to let go. I wouldn't know how to like, I'll just suppress it and I'll think about it and roll myself up even more. And it'll be 2 or 3 days have gone past. And Jordan's like, you still angry about that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So it's like, I've learned to feel it in the moment. I always feel emotions. I never like block them out. It doesn't matter if it's anger or jealousy or all these negative emotions that people like to talk about. I still feel them in the moment, but I'm getting better at once I feel it, acknowledge it, accept it, and then move on. Instead of like holding on to those things. I had a real bad issue with letting go of things. If someone's done wrong by me, if someone's cut me off in traffic,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, fucking, you know, and I'm like, dude, they're probably in a hurry. Like they're lucky they didn't hit you.
Yeah.
You know, like you haven't had and I'm like, oh, good. Like I'm constantly having inner dialogue with myself every day. You know, and I love that though. I love that
Well, I think we all do.
yeah. But I used to like be controlled by it. Now, even like situations where I'm feeling nervous or anxious or anything like that, I'm like, I like tell myself, I'm like, cheers for that, mate, but I don't need you right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you just piss off? I'll deal with, you know, I'll need you later, but not right now.
Yeah.
So that's been like a work in progress for me, I think. A couple of quick questions for you then.
Okay.
Boxing.
Yeah.
What's it been like? Your passion
But
for it?
Yeah, boxing, man, was a saving grace for me.
Has it?
Yeah, it was something that, you know, obviously coming out of rugby, I wasn't focused on any sport. So I thought, look, I love boxing. Always been a fan, but I just walked into a gym and was like, let's go, let's start training. And I just needed that thing back in my life, something to focus on, give you discipline, give you routine. You know, it's physical, it's mental. Like it requires your whole, like we were saying before, being in the flow state, like it requires that. And another thing that is different from footy is it's an individual sport. Like you have a team around you, but it's something that it's all on you. Like everything's on you, and especially when you get in the ring. You're there by yourself. It's you and another guy about to go the knuckle. Like
it's scary, is that, hey?
It's scary.
Yeah.
But no, it's been great. And I just, like any, I guess, martial art, there's always like a learning. It doesn't matter how good you are, there's always more to learn. So
that's amazing too, though, because you're always reaching. You know, there's never a ceiling of learning for boxing or anything really, is there?
No, like it's given me peace, if anything. And just that ability to know, like, as long as I get better each day, you know, it complements my life. Like, try and get better at boxing, I can try and get better at being alive, you know.
Quick questions, quick 5 questions to end the day.
Sure.
What are your non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life?
Touch the ground.
Grounding, yeah.
Feel the earth. Sleep. I struggle with sleep sometimes.
Yeah.
Try and get sleep. Non-negotiables. Like healthy eating, eat organic if you can. It's a bit expensive these days, but try and do it.
Try to do it.
At least eat healthy, clean water. Simple, man. And then also just you need to talk to people. You need a community. Like I had an epiphany. I briefly touched on this in the sauna, but I worked out like, all right, eat good, drink good, sleep good, be in nature. I think nature is, you know, we're natural beings. We're children of the earth. You know, we need to be in nature as much as we can. You know?
Have that connection.
But the thing I was missing, I was living out in the federal by myself, was the community. I had friends everywhere, right? But I wasn't like engaging with people daily. So you need that.
Need that, yeah. How have you defined success? So I know you don't talk about money, so it's nothing to do with money.
Helps. You need financial.
You need financial, but that's not what you. Do you feel successful?
I feel successful. Yeah, I've succeeded. Feeling alive, being real, being who you are, and sharing it, laughing, man. Laugh every day.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah. And last one, tips for anyone that may feel lost and how to get themselves on the correct path.
Start simple.
Yeah.
Start real simple. If you're, go outside, get some sun, make it a daily routine. Start eating healthy, drink clean water. Man, the things that like you think of. Life is not complicated, but it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Love that. Thank you so much for coming on today, mate.
Thank you for having me.
We could have gone another couple of hours
Easily. We'll just get warmed up.
Yeah. So
I'll have to come back.
Yeah, part 2, no worries. But yeah, it's always been good connecting with you and chatting with you, and it's good to see you after a little while. Well, I think we might have to do a part 2 later on. Yeah. Thanks again, Joel.
Thanks, brother. Cheers.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Mind Your Head. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really supports the show and helps others discover us. Don't forget to join us on Instagram and TikTok at mindyourhead.podcast.